And, switching gears to another part of the market, which to me is very interesting. There's been reports that Quinn Ewers and JR Godfather mentioned it here. We got a ton of people live. Appreciate everybody liking and subscribe. But he's saying, look, $6 million offered to Ewers from an unnamed school. This is some of the reporting that's coming out on Twitter right now. Darren Heitner said he heard as much as $10 million for a season. Those are high numbers. The numbers have escalated based on the fact that you now had the house settlement money, revenue money from, revenue sharing from the actual school as opposed to just outside collectives. So the total number for these quarterbacks has gone up. Personally, I have been involved with, involved is the wrong word, but I've been up to date certainly on the Cam Ward recruitment last year, which was a market setting type of recruitment from a transfer portal quarterback. Obviously it paid off for the Miami Hurricanes. They ended up having one of the best players in the country, and also having some exposure to John Mateer, who was a top portal quarterback this year, as far as guys who've already entered. So I could say unequivocally what the top of the market was last year with Cam Ward is different from what the market was with Mateer. That has gone up. The numbers reported for Ewers would be a significant step up from Mateer, right? So you might say Ewers is a much more accomplished player than Mateer, so his number should be higher. I got to say, the 10 million number to me seems remarkably high. Unless that's UNC just spending kind of crazy money.
No, man, that's Texas Tech, man. They're trying to get the in-state rival there.
They got a quarterback.
I'm messing around. We've been talking a lot about Texas Tech and how great they've done in the portal, and obviously they've had a big time commitment in terms of not only NIL but the coaching and paying the assistants and the infrastructure around the entire recruiting department and personnel has been impressive over there. So, we've been talking a lot about Texas Tech, but yeah, that's listen, the sources in these sort of situations always have to be considered. But that's what we're trending towards, these sort of numbers for the top end of the market. Yes.
Pete, I just sent you a link to Darren Heitner, someone who we know. So you know way more than me. I know more of him and mutual friends. I know you know Darren. So he's someone who's legitimately in this NIL space. As we pull up the tweet, the question is what is Ewers worth if he does come back, right? Obviously, he's got name recognition. You see there, Darren Heitner heard one school offered Quinn Ewers $10 million, certainly much more than he would make next year in the NFL. $6 million also would be more than he probably is going to make next year in the NFL. This is a guy who's had injuries. He hasn't, to me, looked the same from a velocity standpoint since his, abdominal injury. Some of his other injuries have sort of added up to the point where I don't see the same kind of juice from the arm. Still very good arm, still very accurate, natural passer. Of course, he has size and experience. And look, he has a chance to potentially win a national championship. So what a surreal situation that we're talking about. Number one, these kind of numbers. Number two, we're talking about a player who not only is not in the portal, he's playing for a national championship. He's in contention for it, right? He's in the tournament. So, and one of the favorites. So very, very interesting situation. If I'm speculating, and why not? Let's speculate. I think the high bidder here could be the University of North Carolina, because this is pure speculation. This is not based on any reporting or anything like that. I don't think Miami is that team that they're talking about with that number. But, UNC is a team that they've gone, and if you look at their portal additions to this point, they've not been big ticket items. Right. So, but we know they were in the Mendoza sweepstakes. We know they're talking about having a lot of money, and they're obviously, if you don't hire Bill Belichick to play it safe. So if you're looking for a team that's looking for maybe instant credibility, selling the Tom Brady development, UNC Quinn Ewers, just from a financial standpoint, makes a lot of sense. From a football standpoint, him playing behind a rebuilt offensive line might be a little dicey, right? Given that he's had so many injuries and he's not the most mobile guy and sturdy guy when it comes to that pass rush. He's always had a great offensive line at Texas and still gotten injured. So I'm not sure that UNC is necessarily the fit, but that's a potential team you could see. As far as the big NIL spenders, some other teams that might make sense that are really looking to make a splash. Again, Miami's an obvious team. FSU has their quarterback. Pete, help me out here. I mean, who would be a fit? We've heard Notre Dame a lot for Ewers. Notre Dame's a team that has
also heard some Arch Manning Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, that sounds like fantasy football.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame, We did a show on it recently. Marcus Freeman said they're not after a portal quarterback. I like Angeli. I think he's going to be a heck of a player. Oregon is a school that's been linked to Quinn Ewers and has the deepest pockets of any team in college football right now. Do they like Dante Moore enough, or do they say, listen, man, we like being number one. We're not sure on Moore.
What about a USC?
USC is another interesting one.
USC's been quiet in this quarterback discussion.
And they could sell a Ewers on the quarterback development from Lincoln Riley. Now, USC's offensive line also not the strongest, right? You said Miller Moss and Jordan Mayava both struggle with the pass rush, right? So none of these are perfect fits. Miami makes a lot of sense in terms of they're going to have 4 of their offensive line starters returning. They're one of the top offensive lines in the country this year. Obviously, Cam Ward and the success he's had. But I don't see Miami offering $10 million for a Quinn Ewers. That to me seems like another team.
Well, we have a bit of breaking news here regarding a couple guys that we were just talking about on the show, D. And we were talking about Quinn Ewers and the potential $6 to $10 million offer out there. We were just talking about Jon Cook, who's transferring to Washington. And Jon Cook, who played with him at Texas, has his thoughts on the offer that's being reported. He said it's a waste of money. He said, wasting y'all money for real. So that's
listen.
That's what he says about Quinn Ewers. Is again, this is purported.
Strong words. I don't love doing that. You're at Washington, right? You're trying to get your career going. I mean, Ewers has done more in his career than Cook has to this point. So, to me, if I'm Cook, I'm focusing on the quarterback I have and trying to be the best player I can be. I'm not sure that's the right approach, but yeah, look, that's a lot of money for a guy that's not a Heisman candidate quarterback. But we'll see. We'll see where how this thing ends up. He's trying to win a national championship right now, so a lot going on.
Yeah, no, everyone's talking about Arch Manning, him, whether he's going to come back. I mean, it's a lot going. Now Sam Levitt on the other side, he didn't take the bait in the press there about Levitt saying that he wanted to prove he's a better quarterback than him. So, it's a lot going on media-wise, but Ewers has dealt with this for years as the number one guy coming out of high school and then doing what he did going to Ohio State and all that stuff. So